Hello and welcome to In the Rising podcast. My name is Bettina and I am your host. This is the platform I've chosen to talk to you about living a life without regret, shame, blame, that same old cycle, that same old awful trio, so that you can live a life that is full of joy and just being in alignment with everything that you were created to be. So I have to say this, I am not a licensed counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, but I am a student of life and a healthcare professional who's had thousands and thousands of hours just having good conversation with people from all walks of life, from many cultures. And I've just realized there's so much that we have in common. So I would love to talk about raising your standards today. This was, again, not the topic I had wanted to talk about, but it just seemed like whatever I was listening to the last couple of days, it was just the same story. Raise your standards. And if anyone has ever followed Tony Robbins, this is something that you are probably very aware. He's had many, many conversations about raising your standards, and that basically we are living up to the standard that we have. Now, maybe the standard we have was great when we were young. Maybe it was great when we were going through something, but it doesn't mean that that has to be our standard right now. Sometimes our standards were never even neutral. They were poor in the first place. And I'm going to put this example first. What about if you have everything you've achieved where you are, quote, successful, but you come home and you're not even engaged with your children, and you're not engaged with your partner either. There's no conversation, there's no connection, there's no real bond with the people that you are doing all this work for. Is that really successful? Or you have all the looks, you have all the youthful this and that, but you feel empty and you feel that there is a void. Sometimes we do what's called mascara therapy, where we color everything nice. We remodel our home and we dress up in all the fancy stuff, but we're not really comfortable. And that's where raising your standard and your view comes in. Raising your mental standard, your spiritual standard, your financial standard, your health. But you cannot raise what you have not yet identified. And so first identifying, I always call it the wheel of life. It's not my phrase, but where are you with regards to parenting? Where are you with regards to your financial situation? Where are you with regards to where you feel in your body? Are you okay with where you are? And this is a comment I heard. I didn't like it. It didn't feel well. And it didn't feel well because it made me uncomfortable. And a lot of why it made me uncomfortable was because there was truth. And it's this quote right here. I wish I could tell you who it was. Maybe it was Tony Robbins, maybe it wasn't. But the quote goes as follows: your life is a direct reflection of the standards you hold, both for yourself and for others. So yes, I do feel that sometimes the things that happen in our life or the people around us, we can't pick our family. I know now we can make a choice of who we really want our family, but you cannot choose your legitimate mom and dad. You cannot choose that this is really your cousin. You can't choose that you were born in New York versus New Delhi. You don't have choices in a lot of the systems that we're born into, which that's exactly what they are. They're systems. But what we choose to do within that system as we become aware, as we grow older, as we grow into maturity. And sadly, some of us have to grow into maturity a lot younger than others. And sadly, some of us never grow into maturity, ever. But that is where we are setting our standards. And so you have to identify, what is your standard? Is it just to be in a relationship? Well, the fact that you're, in this 20, 30, 40-year relationship, but there's nothing there. There's no communication. All you have is a common name or a common address, but nothing in common. You know more and feel more about the neighbor that you say hi to with the little puppy dog and that, has the grandkids over every other day. You feel more towards that person than you do with the person in your own home. Is that really a relationship? Are you valuing the time you spent with them, or are you valuing the quality? What about if you also feel that you have not yet achieved everything you want to? Is it because you haven't put the effort in? Or is it always, well, someone didn't do this? Are you trying to play the martyr and the victim? Or are you saying, okay, I'm on my feet. I'm going to get up and I'm going to go for it. You have to identify what standards you want in your life. And that's really a very personal decision. And when we go through identifying what standards we have and we want to raise those standards, that's where something, I know this quote is from R.C. Blake's, where he says, life has pain. You can't get away from it. And I know a lot of us do, right? We can drink too much, so we don't face our pain. We can shop too much, so we don't face it. We can eat too much, have too many relationships, too many one-night stands, too many educational pursuits. We can have too many and too much of anything because we're not addressing the problem. We're not addressing the pain. But R.C. Blake's does say you're going to have pain. It is your choice whether or not you're going to have short-term pain or long-term pain. But you never have a choice. Every single person on this planet will go through some pain. It's just plain hard fact. Even if we bring that pain upon ourselves, we're going to have some sort of pain. But what kind of pain are we going to go through? And for what purpose? So when we identify, for example, I'm going to put out there a relationship with a partner or family member for that sake. But for my example, a relationship with a partner, is it just important to have somebody that doesn't care about you, likely is cheating on you, likely knows that they're cheating on you, but don't even have enough respect to hide it? What about if you are not just happy to be in that, but you're like, at least I'm not alone? Which is a lie, because you are as alone gets, right? What about you change your standard? That you will not be in just a relationship, but your number one priority relationship is with you. And for those of us that have, a higher level, your number one priority is going upward. Your number two is yourself. And your number three is then out to anyone else. What about those people that you have relationships with? They're going to treat you with respect all day, every day. And there's no excuse. Oh, I had a bad day, well, you need to fix your bad day. I'm not responsible for your bad day. Oh, well, I didn't mean it that way when I said that. Yes, you did. I heard that quote today again. A lot of us, we act a certain way and we say, well, we're stressed out, and so we lashed out. The stress was an excuse. Oh, I said this or that no, you knew. You knew. There are reasons and then there are excuses. And it's stopping the excuses and finding a reason to get to your standard. So say you identify your standard, you're going to have this great relationship. You know what? As soon as you make those raising the bar, you're going to have at least 5 things that bring about some short-term pain. And number 1 is you're going to doubt yourself. And this one's weird because you might be doubting yourself beforehand. How many of us have ever doubted ourselves? Like, am I making the right decision? Is this the right career move? Is this the right person? Are these the right color bed sheets? Is this, are the better socks? Are these organic? Should I buy these organic or these organic? We make decisions all the time, and we can do so much with the self-doubt. Take a little bit or take it long. But when we're in a place where we're no longer letting people manipulate us and make us seem like we're crazy, well, that's where we were comfortable. When people throw out all these red flags and we take them, shake them out, and then use them like a red path. I had so many red flags in a relationship once. I could have driven all the way to work 30 miles one way and back again over some more red flags. It's kind of pathetic. Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I didn't have any confidence. I didn't raise my standard. But it took just a moment, and that standard was raised, and that person they couldn't compete. It's not a competition, but they're just not at your level. I don't know what level it's at. It's not my problem. But you notice that there are people in your surroundings that they don't measure up anymore. And that's number 2. So now you're attracted to people that you're in a new circle. You're with people that show caring, kindness. They think like real thinking, not just, repeating a parrot from someone else, but they're actually thinking. And so not only did you have self-doubt, but now you've got this crew of people that you're not sure you fit in because you haven't attracted people like that. You're actually enjoying this peace of mind. You're not having a hot, cold, yes, no, push, pull. You're in that nice moment, and it's scary. But you know what? You had that self-doubt, but you're like, no, I'm going to keep going for it. You're attracting people that you weren't attracted to before, a great new circle. You're like, okay, I guess I got to stay there. Then number 3 is you may even feel uncomfortable with your freedom. It's almost like another saying that sometimes we are afraid of failure, but we are just as afraid of success because it's awkward. We haven't felt it. We're not comfortable with it. And what about when we are in that relationship where now we don't have this codependent feeling? There's no toxicity. You wake up and every breath feels deep and beautiful and clean. It's like nice little lavender peppermint. And you've done this master cleanse, but now you're into number 4, which is a little lonely. And that's what you'll see with people who have genuine friends. There's not 50 to 100 people at that birthday party. There's a small group of just genuine, caring people. I'm not saying you don't have 100 family members or 100 friends, but like you're really close, like really, really, really know you and accept you for where you are. And you're not codependent on them. It's a small circle. And number 5 is a good one. It's self-respect. You now have more self-respect, and you kept this promise despite the self-doubt, despite the loneliness, despite being in a crew of people that you're not all that familiar with. And despite feeling uncomfortable because you're no longer codependent, you feel and can walk with self-respect. You'll see it when people are out of a really bad relationship. It's like their posture increases because they literally don't have this weight on their shoulders. It's amazing what self-respect will do. And you got to that point. And that's what this whole podcast is about. Building self-respect, self-worth, self-love. And in order to get one, you got to drop the other stuff. The self-doubt, manipulative people, toxic people. And you're going to have less drama and less trauma, which is really nice. And with all that gone, you'll have so much more time to sleep, to eat healthy, to read books you like, to exercise, to enjoy, to laugh, and do absolutely nothing. Because you raised your standards. You get that freedom that you actually were created for. So thank you again for your time today. This show was really on my heart today. So I'm glad that you listened, and thank you for your time, because you know what? We don't get our time back. So if you like the show, leave some stars, give some feedback. Hey, I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys next Tuesday when the next show drops. And until then, let's keep building one another up.